I've been waiting for a long time for some big names out there to have a podcast of their own. When you think about esports or gaming podcasts, there are so few and far between. You have Hex, who runs, two of the biggest ones in all of esports over there at Optic with the Optic podcast and, of course, the Eavesdrop podcast. And there's definitely sprinkles of other ones that have gone in and out of esports and gaming, but none that have really taken off to new heights. And I cannot wait for that moment. We've actually seen people like Tim the Tatman, Nick Merckx, even someone like Dr. Disrespect think about starting their own up in the future. It was actually in a recent stream where Doc responds to a question of would he go on the Joe Rogan podcast, to which he says he doesn't think so. He would want to do it on his own terms. And I think what he means by that is, producing a podcast or a show of his own where he's the host.
I'm talking going to a little bit bigger of a room, maybe even outside, okay? Garage, bathroom. Love you, Doc, when you going back on the H3 podcast, says Kevin Kawan. I'm not a big podcast guy in general. I'm not, man. Just in general. I've been invited on a lot of podcasts. Woody Wild, thank you for the 25. Hey, you beautiful specimen. Predator status should be chasing a Doc. Remind him today. 1 year and 4 days member on the YouTube. 1 year subscriber on that purple shit show. Joe Rogan calls and gives you a crisp invite. Probably not. I'm telling you, man. There's a reason. I'm going to go on a podcast my way. And that might require additional resources and funding. Okay.
But this also brings up a great point that I talked about, I think, probably years ago now, because it was years past even that, where Joe Rogan had his last gamer or former esports pro on the podcast. Obviously, the biggest podcast in the entire world. I'm sure you guys know about it. But do you remember that Jordan Nothing Gilbert, that being Nothing from CSGO, was the first and only ever esports pro to be on that show? And even he was pretty early to it. And Joe himself claims to be a gamer. I think he's a big old fan of Quake, but has never brought on any other rising internet or entertainment or esports and gaming personalities. Not even someone like Ninja in his peak. You could say someone like Nick Merckx, Tim the Tatman, XQC. Obviously, Doc to go on there would be completely out of the blue. I would love to see it, but Doc says he would not do it because he wants to do something a bit down his own production alley. Does that mean a future podcast for Doc? Does it mean future appearances on other shows instead? What do y'all think about it? But right now, Joe Rogan, if he were to invite Dr. Disrespect to come on his show, he would apparently say no, which is kind of shocking. What do y'all think about it? Drink some water, drink some coffee. I'll catch you back here next time. Take care.